I'm Elle Mejia, a landlord, investor, and retail leasing professional. I've completed high-level transactions for retailers in markets across 5 continents. On my way to building a multi-million-dollar real estate business, I'm curating advice from women who are killing it across the globe and sharing those conversations with you. You can absolutely run your business, run your household, and run your life without running yourself into the ground. Welcome to This Girl Sells Real Estate. Hello and welcome to another episode of This Girl Sells Real Estate. I am your host, Elle Mejia. This is a podcast by PrettyGirlsWork where we feature long-form interviews with phenomenal women in real estate and short-form episodes like this Minisode, where I get to share a little bit more in depth about my process in the retail leasing sphere, which I hope is transferable to any of the markets that you're working in, whether you're working in commercial industrial or in the office space, or whether you're trading in residential real estate as well. As always, if there's any information that you want to hear or any suggestions for topics that you feel like would help you in your career, I would love to be able to speak on those. Leave me a note, send me an email. I'm so easy to find. Follow me across most social media platforms, and I would be happy to come up with a minisode that's based on that topic as well. But today we are going to be talking about how to get prospects to respond to your inquiries. And this is a big one, especially for prospects who are maybe a little bit higher end or are really impactful and influential in the market. So they have a lot of leasing managers that are coming to them and a lot of retail leasing professionals and landlords and developers and brokers and agents who are reaching out to them to come into their space. So you have a unit, you have a center, you think it would be absolutely perfect for them. How do you actually get that opportunity in front of them and have them pay attention and take a look at it and see that it's as perfect for them as you know it is? So how do you get a prospect to respond to you? That's what we're going to be talking about today. The first tip that I have for this is to make sure that you're talking to the right person. Make sure you're contacting the right person. Don't just email the most senior level person that you can find and hope that it kind of trickles down to the person who is responsible for this sector. Make the effort to find out who it is that's responsible. And definitely don't send the same cut and paste email to multiple employees in the same company, hoping that one of them reacts. It backfires for so many reasons. I can tell you, even as a leasing professional, on the landlord side, we'll get emails from brokers. Like I'll get an email and my colleague that sits next to me will get an email, and you'll have 6 employees who all sit about a stone's throw away from each other, who have all now received the same email. It comes across as spam. We'll all realize within a matter of 5 minutes that we've been sent the same inquiry. But even from a results-driven perspective, because I know being annoying isn't really a deterrent for me. I feel like it's a part of my job description to be annoying and to be persistent and to kind of get the information and the results that I want. But from a results-driven perspective, if everyone thinks that someone else is handling it, you're actually increasing your chances of that email being ignored. So make the effort to make sure you're talking to the right person. I'll check their website to see if they have someone listed who actually handles their leasing. LinkedIn has been a phenomenal resource for me. So I literally just type the company name and the word leasing or lease or business development. A lot of companies have business development managers that manage their rollout processes. If I know deals that they've completed in the marketplace in the recent past, I'll go and see who the broker is that represented them and go straight to the broker if I can't find a direct company contact. And I make sure that what I'm sending to them is concise as well and is easy for them to see the information without the risk of them kind of clicking through or deleting. So for example, if I'm sending an email, I typically won't send an email that contains links to outside sources that they need to reference, particularly if they don't know who I am. So think about how hesitant you are to click on a link in an unsolicited email from someone you've never spoken to before. So I try to make sure that the information is as concise as possible. I make sure that it's going to the right person. And I just make sure that I know my prospect. And that really kind of leads me into my next tip about knowing your prospect. And that's really understanding what their needs are in the market and only sending them centers and spaces that are appropriate for them. So, don't send a B or C class center offering to a high-end tenant that only operates in high-end centers. Don't send a 5,000 square foot space to a tenant who needs 10,000 square foot minimum. Don't contact them about a location that's down the street from an existing store that they already have. Unless you're looking to reload that store. A lot of times if I'm speaking to someone and I know that they have a store in the market, I'll ask them, when is your lease up? And I'll put a note in my CRM that lets me know that if their lease is up in December of 2021, maybe I'll start contacting them in February of 2021 and asking them, what is it that you plan on doing with that space? Would you consider a relocation in the market? But you need to have that intimate information about your prospect so that you can assure them that you have their business growth strategy in mind. So if you're contacting this tenant, you should already know where they're positioned in the market. You should know why your space would make sense as a part of their growth strategy. And that'll not only get you far in that transaction, but it'll also set the tone for how your offerings are received in the future. And that works in both directions. If the first interaction that a client has with you, you're offering something to them that is so completely outside of what they would need or what they would require, and it becomes clear that you're really just kind of pitching this to anyone and hoping that something will stick, that'll get you either on the block list or on the quick delete list without even opening the email the next time that they see your name. But if they're used to seeing your name, even with transactions that don't work out and even with opportunities that they don't move forward with, if it's opportunities that at least make them pause and take a look at it and do the legwork to see whether or not it'll work for their franchisees or work for their for their corporate structure, or for their rollout plan, if it makes sense to continue the discussion, then the next time they get an email from you, they'll know the caliber and the quality of offering that you're putting in front of them, and they'll take the time to take a look at it. Of course, there are no hard and fast rules with this. So the anchor deal that I completed just in March, when I first approached them, I was approaching them because they were looking for a 15 to 20,000 square foot space or a 20 to 25,000 square foot space. In either case, I didn't have that to offer them. But what I had was a really, really, really well-positioned center in the market that was probably about 10,000 or 15,000 square feet above what it was that they thought that they required. But I knew that the demographic and the really the neighborhood that the center was positioned in would be perfect for them. And I knew that if I put that opportunity in front of them, it would be one that they would consider. So use your common sense in that regards. Don't hold fast and true to the metrics that are given to you if you're looking at it in a listing or if you're looking at it in a broker report or anything along those lines. There are no hard and fast rules, but make sure that what you're presenting to that prospect makes sense. You don't want to, there are prospects, for example, there are restaurant tenants who won't operate if it's not an end cap with a patio. Don't send them inline units that aren't going to meet their requirements. They'll ignore every email that comes from you in the future. So make sure that you understand, even as far as power requirements that you have. If you don't have a 200 amp service, you're probably not going to be able to put a full service restaurant in. Understand those metrics and understand the questions that prospect is going to have when you put that opportunity in front of them. And if you don't already have a relationship with the retailer, provide some information right off the bat that lends to your credibility as well. So whether that's a quick bio or profile, this is not something that I do because I have the benefit of operating under a banner that is extremely well-known, probably the best well-known landlord and developer in the country. So I come with that banner that lends to my credibility. But if you're operating as an agent and you're just starting to build your business and you're contacting this retailer and you don't have, that credible banner behind you, you need to show them who you are. You need to let them know that they're not just speaking to anyone, they're speaking to an expert, they're speaking to someone who has the capacity to understand their requirements and suggest placements that are in the market for them that are going to check off all their boxes and actually move their business forward. For premium tenants especially, you'll have to cut through the noise and make things as easy as possible for them. Follow these guidelines every single time. Don't get lazy, don't get complacent, work the system, and it'll absolutely pay off. A quick announcement before I sign off with you today. So we are getting ready within PrettyGirlsWork, within the PGW community, to open up the real estate group inside that community. So for those of you who are listening, you know that this is a podcast under the PrettyGirlsWork Podcast Network. PrettyGirlsWork is actually a larger community of women founders and entrepreneurs. And within that membership community, for $8 a month, which is incredible, you get access to webinars and workshops. And we have several groups within the community that are specific to niches. So we have our coaches and speakers group right now, a group for retailers. We're opening up our authors and writers group, and we're opening up the real estate group on July 8th. And we're opening it up with a fantastic power panel series featuring 5 women in real estate. I will be one of them. Odine Eccleston, who is a broker and developer, will be on that panel. Jenna Rose, who was just featured in Property Sparks as one of the top 20 realtors in Toronto. I believe Andrea Bloom was on that list as well. She'll be joining us on the panel. Priscilla Facey, who has been doing amazing work with development in the city as well. all of us are going to be a part of this power panel series where we're going to be answering your questions on how to set yourself apart in your real estate market as a real estate professional. But this is the grand opening of the real estate group inside of the community, where we'll be hosting webinars and workshops and mastermind groups and coaching sessions specifically geared to women in real estate. So if you're listening to this and you're a woman in real estate, you're a professional who's trying to build your legacy within real estate, definitely check out that event on July 8th, the Ask Her Power Panel series with myself, Odine, Andrea, Jenna, and Priscilla. And definitely check out a membership with the PGW community. It's $8 a month for access to so much information, including a full course academy. Actually, there's so much I probably can't even get to it. I'm missing stuff for sure on this podcast, but take a look at it. Make sure you join us for that event. Ask any questions it is that you want to ask any of these women about how it is that they've maneuvered in their careers and what you can do to translate it into success in yours. As always, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of This Girl Sells Real Estate, our third minisode that I'm having so much fun with these days. Send any questions that you have to my email address, to me on any social media platforms, or directly to the Pretty Girls Work email and contact information. We'd love to hear from you and speak to exactly what it is that you're working through in your careers. If there's anything that we can do to help support you, that's exactly what we're in business for. And it's my personal favorite thing to do. So let me know how I can best do that for you. And whatever platform it is that you're tuned into today, please be sure to like and follow and subscribe. It takes a few seconds for you, but it means so much to us in the long run in helping us get this out to as many people as we can get it out to. Thank you again so much for your support. Thank you for tuning in. And I will see you next time on another episode of This Girl Sells Real Estate.